Here's another video about how to create impact in the market. Lately I've been asked a lot about which concepts we use within product development. And in this video, that's exactly what I'll be trying to focus on. Now, when building products, the ultimate dream is to build the product that everyone loves. So the minimum lovable product. The one that everyone promotes to all their friends, who then buy the product and promote it to all their friends. And then we end up with something like the iPhone. The one that sold out faster than they could build it, basically. That's the wet dream of the minimum lovable product. But getting there is easier said than done. So we can't just sit down and do a plan and then execute on it, because then everyone would do it. So what does it take to get there? Well, within the agile world, we have different concepts that we use. The first one comes out of Lean Startup by Eric Ries, and it's called the Minimum Viable Product. And contrary to what most think, it's not a matter of building the product as fast as possible. It's about doing the smallest thing you can to obtain validated learning. And that means that you actually get feedback from the market, from customers. So how small can you do an MVP? Well, in the beginning of a product lifecycle or product development, you can basically draw on a piece of paper. That will probably tell you a lot more than you can learn by assuming or analyzing. So if you sit down with your customers and do a drawing, that's an MVP, because you obtain validated learning. As you develop the product, it will of course grow in complexity and flavors and all that stuff, but try always to look for the smallest thing you can find. And within the MVP, I personally categorize it in two different flavors. The first one is close to what I just mentioned, and it's called the prototype, the physical thing you can ask people to play with. The other one is called a pretotype, and it's the thing we do before building a prototype. So if we want to release, or we have the idea of building a new product, how do we validate whether the product's even interesting to anyone? Well, we could just do a marketing campaign and promote the product that we don't have. And if a lot of people click on it and register their details to learn more about the product, then we're pretty sure that there's a market out there. If no one clicks the link, then either we're really bad at marketing or there is no market for our product. Meaning, why even build an MVP or a prototype? Now, that was the MVP. The next one is the MMP. And it's closer to what people usually perceive as being an MVP. But it's the smallest number of features you can put together as a product and release so you get your first movers on board. Remember, the trick here is to focus on the first ones, not mass market. Mass market will come later, but unless you get your first movers on board, you will never obtain mass market. So do the smallest thing you can do to get them on board. And once they're on board, you can start learning. And this is where MMF, or Minimum Marketable Feature, comes into play. This is the smallest thing you can build that brings value to your customers. And how can you slice that? Well, think about your world and what brings value to your customers. Not just what takes effort to build, but what actually gives them something. That will be your MMF. And when we've built a bunch of them, we have to release them at some point, hopefully. Well, that brings us to the minimum marketable release. And this is the smallest release we're willing to let into the market. Now, in some cases, it's a very good idea to make the smallest feature equal the smallest release. So every time you get a feature, you push it to the market so you get instant learning from it. But sometimes it's not ideal. So please consider that release is also a business decision. It's not just a capability you have. Because what if you could bundle, let's say, 10 features into one and then get every online media to talk about your product for a month versus just letting features slip into the market? Well, then you'd probably bundle 10. So treat them differently, even though they might occur at the same cadence. Now, those were the concepts I chose to bring up this time. So we covered the minimum lovable product, the minimum viable product, the minimum marketable product, the minimum marketable feature, and minimum marketable release. If you have anything to add, then please drop it in the comments below. Otherwise, like and share all you can, because the more we share, the more we all learn. Thank you for watching.